What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to yet another video. As you can see, I've got the F30 here behind me. Today we are going to do a follow-up video. If you guys have been following along, I recently added boot mode to the car and I kind of wanted to give you guys my first week's impressions and kind of go over some of the Burble settings that I have going on currently. If you guys couldn't already tell, I'm actually filming this video on a different camera. I recently picked up a GoPro Hero 8 Black and figured I'd try to give this camera a shot. I wanted to be able to give you guys a little bit more exterior footage, you know, exhaust noises, that sort of thing. So that's kind of why I picked up the GoPro, but wanted to try it out on this video. Let me know in the comments below. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Let me know what you guys think. If you guys haven't seen the most recent videos, definitely go check those out. We added Keys Motorsports as a sponsor on the channel. Huge thanks to them. We also added a boot mode tune to my F30 335. So today's video, I kind of want to go over the things that I want to change on the current tune that's on here and also kind of give you guys my first week's impressions. Like I said, it's been about a week with the boot mode tune on the car. So current mods that we currently have are an MST intake. We do have a stock downpipe still. It does have an M Performance exhaust, and we do have an ARM Motorsports front mount intercooler, as well as charge pipe and boost pipe. So we are only running a stage 1 boot mode tune, but my first week has been pretty good. Majority of my driving has been around town, normal city driving. I did take it on the highway a couple times, but around town this thing feels incredibly fast, way more sprightly than it was before, and it really woke the car up in my opinion. But on the highway it's still very fast, but I think, you know, with a few more mods on this thing and we can finally crank it up to a stage 2, I think I'll be really happy. I will say, for an off-the-shelf map, the stage 1 is really great. Pro Tuning Freaks has really kind of perfected the tune, and as time goes on they keep making changes and revisions, but currently the way it sits right now is really nice. It pulls pretty hard in 3rd and 4th gears. First and second gear feel very similar to how it was before with the M Performance power kit on it with the M Performance tune, but 3rd and 4th gear it really takes off, and it's really noticeable. Since my initial boot mode install video, if you guys haven't seen that, you should go check that out. I have actually also added an MST intake, so now the car makes some really cool noises. You hear a lot more induction noise, you hear a lot more turbo spool, you also even hear a little bit of blow off. And just that combination with the stage 1 tune has been really fantastic so far. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and connect the laptop to the car, and we're actually going to pull boot mode up. I did kind of cheat on you guys since the last video. I actually did change the Burble tunes already once, and currently the way it sits, it's a little bit too burbly in my opinion. I think it sounds really cool, but it's just a little bit too obnoxious for me, and it does turn heads quite a bit, and I can't even imagine with the downpipe and, you know, having all these extra backfires and stuff, it's kind of not really my taste. I'd rather it be a little bit more subtle, so I am going to turn those settings down a little bit, but I'm going to insert some clips here that I took on my cell phone of what it currently sounds like before we make some adjustments. Okay, so a couple things here before we get started. I'm going to make sure that I've got a couple things off while we do this, because I am not going to actually connect the battery to a battery tender. So I am going to turn off my fans, make sure my radio is off. I'm also going to turn my headlights off. And I'm also going to plug my driver's side seatbelt in, because that is a necessary thing that you have to do. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. All right, so moving over to the laptop, you need to go ahead and pull up your boot mode agent. So you need to have this running in the background. Additionally, I'm going to go to bootmode.net. All right, so once you go to bootmode.net, you want to go ahead and sign in, create an account if you don't already have one. As you can see, I'm logged in, but we are not actually connected to the car yet. So at this point, we need to connect our Ethernet cable. All right, so plug in that end into the OBD, and then this end into the laptop here. All right, so at this point, it should automatically connect, and the car has woken up. So as you can see, we do have it connected here. OBD is connected. So I figured I'll show you guys what my current Burble settings and everything look like. So again, we are on a stage 1. So if you go over here to my maps, and I'm going to pull up the stage 1 93 octane map. And then go in the right corner here, go to configure. So this is what I currently have on the car. So I decided to customize everything here. So as you can see, I've got exhaust Burble here on the top is custom. The duration, number of seconds. So this is gonna be in normal comfort mode, and then you obviously have sport mode, and then the aggression for comfort mode, aggression for sport mode, etc. So currently this is what it looks like. As you can see, the duration on the comfort setting is number of seconds. So we were at 3 seconds. I think I'm gonna turn this down a little bit. I don't want it to burble too much, so I'm gonna do maybe 2.5 seconds. The duration on sport is much more noticeable. So I'm gonna actually turn that down to maybe 3 seconds. So like I said, it's not terribly obnoxious the way it currently is, but it is a little bit aggressive. As you can see here, I've got this turned all the way up. I was told by someone that the aggression should not be all the way up on a stock cat. I am still on a stock cat currently, so just to be safe, I'm actually gonna turn this down a little bit because it is popping quite a bit. So I'm gonna turn this maybe down to 7. And for the comfort mode, I'm gonna turn this down to maybe a 5. And it's not super noticeable on the inside of the car. I mean, you can definitely hear it, but on the outside, it's much, much more noticeable. If you keep scrolling down, you'll see that we've got the minimum speed, maximum speed. So I'm gonna leave those the way it is. Maximum and minimum RPMs, I'm also gonna leave that the way it is. I don't think we're gonna change anything else. I did change the GTS startup roar. It's turned on, so I actually kind of like that. So when the car is really cold, it's especially more noticeable. When the car turns on, it's more of a race start. The engine starts at a higher RPM and it kind of briefly goes a little bit higher and then back to the normal factory settings. So it sounds more aggressive on startup. Additionally, I do have my electronic valves on this exhaust unplugged. That was one of the first things I actually did on this car, was unplug the little flap, because I actually prefer it to be a little bit louder. So I just permanently unplugged it. Okay, so I'm not gonna change anything else down here below. So I'm just gonna scroll down to the bottom here. Let's see, and then I'm gonna hit save changes. Are you sure you want to save these configuration changes? Hit save. Map configuration saved. Reflash this map to have the changes applied to the DME. So hit OK. All right, so at this point, we can go ahead and actually flash this to the car now that I've made changes to the tune. So if you come down here and hit flash, and then over here, press here to flash now. Click that. Battery charger is highly recommended. Turn headlights and fan off. Unplug the driver and plug the driver's seatbelt back in. So I've got that in currently, and I've got as much stuff off as I can. I know this is gonna be a pretty fast, flash, so I'm not going to actually connect it to a battery tender at this time, but I'm just gonna hit flash. As you guys can see, it's going very quickly. The car has got some malfunctions popping up: chassis stabilization, drive moderately, blah, blah, blah. And just in a matter of seconds, the car is reflashing. So very, very fast compared to some other tunes on the market. And that's why boot mode is so awesome. All right, success. Stage 1 93 octane has been successfully flashed. Please turn ignition off, wait 5 seconds, then start the car. So I'm gonna hit OK. All right, I'm gonna turn the car off. Wait 5 seconds. So at this point, I'm gonna carefully get into the car. I'm gonna leave all this attached because I'm also gonna do a transmission flash, but I'm gonna go ahead and turn this on, make sure we don't have any weird lights. And if for some reason you do have a check engine light, which we don't, you can actually turn the car off, turn it back on, and it'll go away. But so far everything looks good. And now we can do a transmission flash. So the transmission flash, if you go back to my maps, go back to the menu, scroll on down to transmission, click on that. So there's two things here. We've got a stock 8-speed automatic TCU flash, as well as an upgraded 8-speed automatic TCU flash. So this one here will raise the torque limits for the supported 8-speed automatic transmission vehicle. So we go ahead and click that. It will provide a higher torque limit and more precise and faster shifts. And apparently this is supposed to be a really fantastic thing to do to this car. So I'm gonna hit flash TCU. We've got everything still connected and plugged in. Things are turned off, seatbelt's plugged in. I can go ahead and hit flash. And just like that, it's starting the process. Things are making noises, things are popping up, and just in a matter of a couple seconds here, you can see that it just popped up. So we're gonna let this run. So that took about 2 minutes to do. It says success. Please turn ignition off, wait 5 seconds, then start the car. So hit off or hit OK. Come on down into the car carefully, turn it off, wait 5 seconds or so. I'm really excited to see how this feels because I was told that this makes a huge difference. And if it's anything like my old DCT M3, doing a transmission flash was by far the best thing ever because that's the way the car should have came from factory. So I'm excited to see how this feels, but we can go ahead and turn the car on. That GTS startup roar, so you went up to about 2,000 RPMs, and we don't have any check engine lights, so that's good. Everything looks good. We can finally take this thing for a drive and see how it sounds. And yeah, so let's get to it. All right, guys, let's go for a little ride here. So let's see what the differences are here.
Motion detection recording 2 occurred.
Might have to drive around the block a little bit because the car is totally cold, but hopefully we can get an idea of what the shifts will be like.
Continuous recording will now start.
So I'm not sure how this is going to be in the dark, but all right, so I'll try to drive with these lights on. Like I said before, I didn't really have a problem with the way it sounded with the longer burbles and the more aggression. It was actually kind of cool, but from the outside, it sounds much more obnoxious than it does on the inside. So I don't want to be that guy that's rolling down the street, you know, backfiring like crazy. It's just a little bit too much overrun for my taste. And, you know, obviously I have my M3 as well, and I had a Burble tune on that car for a couple months maybe, and you know, the novelty wears off pretty quickly, and so I don't want to be that guy. Plus, I'm driving a BMW. I don't want it to sound like it's farting all over the place. That's just me. All right, so the car's still cold. I'm just going to take it easy, but I'm just going to do some normal manual driving. So I've got this in manual mode. I'm in comfort mode still. I can already tell you that its transmission flash is actually a lot quicker than it was before. So that was kind of one of my complaints with the way it was from factory, was that it, you know, it shifted a little bit slow. So is this as fast as a DCT car like my old M3? I would say no, but I mean it's decently fast. I can't tell yet if it's more aggressive shifting, but it is quicker. It's almost instantaneous, which is good because sometimes, you know, I need to downshift quickly on the highway or something to get around some cars or whatever, and it does, you know, lag a little bit in that area. So I think this is going to be a lot better. All right, so I'd say the car is pretty warm enough for us to get on a little bit, but I'm just normal driving, and I can tell you right now that this thing shifts way faster. And I think, you know, the more I kind of get on it, it's even more aggressive. I'm going to go ahead and put this in sport mode. And obviously it's going to be as fast as it was before. It's just not going to overrun quite as much, which is good. It's raining right now, otherwise I'd get some exterior footage. Let's do a little quick run here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. First of all, this car feels way faster than it did a week ago. But the shifts are much more precise, much more lightning fast. So the Burble sounds pretty good too. It's not terribly aggressive like it was. I think it's more of, you know, kind of what it was before. I mean, the Burble in, you know, stock form with the M-Performance Power Kit, there was some natural Burble there, so it's kind of maybe a tad bit more aggressive than that, but still very, very moderate. Yeah, this car is slipping and continue to make me crave more power, and then I'm going to go down the rabbit hole like I did on my E90, and by the time I'm done with it, it's going to have upgraded turbos and make 500 wheels. So I don't know, we'll see how it goes. But let's do another quick little run through the gears here. I get some traction. Ready, go. Shifts are much more precise. Before it was a little bit sloppy, so now it's much better. This car just wants to kick out. Woo. Alright guys, that just about wraps it up for today's video. If you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns, or suggestions on what I should do in terms of Burble settings and things like that, please let me know in the comments below. Other than that, I'm really digging this car and I'm excited for what's to come. So we'll see you guys in the next video. Stay tuned for more. Thanks for watching, and as always, don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.